What are some guy secrets girls don't know about? Many men have anxiety and or depression, but we will not talk about, and will get moderately annoyed at you for bringing it up. Sometimes we pee on the poo stains in the toilet, because we are too lazy to use the scrub. Sometimes we don't talk to people cause we don't want to intimidate them. I might see a girl with a cool shirt on, but I don't want to make her think I'm coming on to her or something. Rather than freak her out that a 6'6" guy thinks she looks good today, I just leave her alone. Especially if we are on an elevator or something where she can't leave, if she actually is uncomfortable. X isn't all we want in a relationship. I'd rather be with someone who understands me, but only does it once in a while than someone who I have X with every day, but don't connect with emotionally and mentally. Some of us are into things like cooking, cleaning, makeup, fashion, etc. It doesn't necessarily mean we are gay. Please don't tell us to man up. A lot of us were constantly told that growing up, whenever we tried to express ourselves, so you saying it will often bring up bad memories. Men can be abused. Men can be aped. Men also tend to be more suicidal, because society tells us we are weak if we try to discuss these things. No, we don't enjoy being aped by a hot girl, and we often don't talk about it, because people will often straight up tell us we are lying about it if we do. If we haven't carried in all the shopping in one go, we haven't done it right. IDK if other guys feel this too, but I'm always afraid of accidentally making women feel uncomfortable in my presence. For example, when I happen to walk in the same direction as a woman in front of me for a while and am not even interested in women in the first place. Maybe this is more of a dad secret, but I don't babysit my own kids. That's called fathering. My dad served in the Pacific during WW2. A kid from the Bronx. He had never been out of the Bronx in his entire life. Then he got sent to New Guinea. Decades later, as he lay dying in the hospital bed, he told us, as his young friends were being slaughtered by other young men, just before they died, they always cried for their mothers, never for their fathers, always for their mothers. He said, they were just kids being slaughtered by other kids. And then they died, in his arms. Their last words were always, where is my mother? Where is my mother? Where is my mother? Never for their fathers. That affected him for his entire life. And had lived a long time. He was the lucky one. Men have a box that our minds go into. It's called the nothing box. So next time you ask a man what he's thinking about and he answers with nothing, there is a good chance he's telling you the truth. If you compliment my appearance, I will probably remember forever. I still remember when a girl in college told me I looked nice with my beard when I first grew it out. I've had a beard ever since. I'm a woman. In college I complimented this random guy in line for coffee that he smelled really nice. It wasn't a pickup line or anything, I just enjoyed complimenting people. About a year later we ended up having a class together, and I didn't recognize him at all. He came up to me and thanked me again for the compliment I gave him a year ago, and said he hasn't forgotten about how nice that was for a stranger to be so upfront and to compliment him. We'll be married 7 years in June. Edit. Thank you for my first medal. I love sharing this story. I remember 2 years ago when a girl told me my eyes are beautiful. I've had eyes ever since. After a shower, we have no problem drying our balls and face with the same towel. Most of the time we try to dry the face first, then the sack. But sometimes we have to go back to the face. We just hope we use an uncontaminated part of the towel. Edit. Uncontaminated. My balls are clean after a shower. Just, you know, wiping the balls then wiping my face is just kind of, yay. And then by the next day the towel forgets and it resets. I'm secretly an emotional wreck. I just hide it. As an older man, we don't expect you to look like a supermodel as we age together. Yes, at times I do see you as I did 30 years ago, and every wrinkle and flaw disappears. Yes, there are times I see every wrinkle and flaw, and know how you got every one of them. They are beautiful too. This comment will be buried, but those perfectly round toilets suck. It's super annoying when your junk touches the inside of the toilet bowl. The oval toilets like in most public toilets are much better. Your chances of getting what you want out of us are infinitely higher if you tell us directly. I can vouch for this. I was upset with myself for not picking up what I thought were clear hints when he responded frustrated with, "I don't understand hints, just tell me what you want, woman." He really helped me communicate better. I don't know why we grow up thinking we can't directly ask for things. I just spent the last hour shouting all of these to my husband in the other room, and him replying, "Yep." When I told mine the title, he said, "We've all tried that one thing." Took a couple of hours, but I finally came across it a few posts up. Bunch of snitches in this thread. At least they didn't disclose any of the serious stuff, like stuff about that meeting we all have once a year. We don't care how popular or unpopular you are with other women, so it shouldn't factor into how you value yourself when dating. When people come crying to us, our first inclination is to fix the problem. Since this is often not possible, lead with something along the lines of, "Can I vent for a minute?" or anything that signals to us this is just a time for active listening, rather than a problem solving session. Otherwise it's just awkward WTF is going on here in our heads. Simply saying you need to cry tells us exactly what we need to do. When we want to be alone, it's not that we don't want to be around you, it's that we don't want to be around anyone for a bit. I get this one way too well. I go through bouts where I just don't want to talk to anyone regardless of how close we are. If we tie down anything in the back of a pickup truck or trailer, it's physically impossible for us not to stand back and say that's not going anywhere. This is shockingly accurate. Might even be accompanied by shaking the object a bit and looking at your friend for confirmation that he also saw how much it's not going anywhere. We really do think your hair is good. It looked good before and after you got a haircut. It looked good curly and it looked good straight. It looked good when you woke up and when you made it. As long as it's shaped like the hair we gave girls on stick figures when we were 5 years old, we think it looks good. We don't get the hint. Saying "I almost broke my neck in the driveway" is not the same as asking us to shovel it. In my mind I'm thinking, "Thanks for the heads up, I'll be careful." Subtle hints do not work. Obvious hints do not work. Anything short of spelling it out ABC style at us will not work. When I try to pick up on hints I get it wrong almost every time. Oftentimes, we genuinely don't care where we go to eat because we are just hungry and want food. Any food, as long as you eat some too. I'm a girl and I've found out through the years that when guys say something, don't think too much into it, like what's the hidden meaning? Don't overthink it. Guys normally say stuff that should be taken at face value. At the urinals we typically pee on soap bars, ice or plastic mats to reduce splash damage and smell. The mental struggle we have to go through to not scratch around our groin in a public setting. It'll take 100% of my willpower to not do it. The itching can drive me insane, yet the euphoria from actually scratching it is so good. I often imagine this must be what it's like scratching a dog's ears. The nod. When you see a guy you don't know, or kind of know, but don't really know well enough to talk to walks by, you give a subtle nod of your head, which they return. I talked to my wife about it, and she confirms that women do not do this, but that they sometimes smile instead. Edit, because it keeps coming up. Some girls also give the nod. Typically, an up nod is for your friends, and a down nod is for strangers or less than friends. This could subconsciously have to do with a baring or hiding of the throat. Thanks everyone for the comments. Edit 2. Some women nod also. I have been told no need to add another identical comment. As a favor, I worked on a girl's car one time and got pretty dirty. Afterwards, she asked me if I wanted to come inside and take a shower. I told her no, because I hadn't brought any clean clothes to put on after the shower. She just kinda giggled. Yeah, us guys aren't exactly too bright when it comes to reading between the lines. How many nights have you laid awake replaying this what if in your mind? I've lost count. Similar story for me. In 9th grade, my friend and I were hanging out with a third friend, who was a girl I had a crush on. Eventually she invites us back to her house to continue hangs, and turns out her parents are out of town and her older brother was staying with his girlfriend, so it's just the three of us. We watch it on TV and eventually my friend says it's getting late and he has to go home, so he does, and now it's just me and her sitting on the couch watching Seinfeld. Eventually she turns to me and says, "Would you like to see my new bathing suit?" In my brain, I thought she meant she would go get it, bring it back in her hands, and hold it out, and show it to me. I really wasn't interested in that scenario, so I said nah. She said oh, okay. We watched TV for another 20 minutes, then I went home. I figured out what she meant 11 years later. Thank you so much for watching, and soobscrooble if you want.